Welcome back to Fast Money. The crypto craze continues as Ethereum rallies to a new all-time high. So is this the dawning of the...
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
So it seems like a good time to add our Ethereum bug, but what even is Ethereum? Why is it rallying? Our Bob Pisani is at the NYSE to explain. Hi, Bob.
Hello, Melissa. Talk about wild swings. Even by cryptocurrency standards, the last 24 hours has been a little bit weird for Ethereum. It opened up about 14% today compared to Friday's close. It gave it all back midday, then rallied back. It's wild. It did clear $1,200 for the first time today. That's a new all-time high. Remember, Ethereum was, what, $10 at the start of 2017? Ethereum is now the second biggest cryptocurrency after Bitcoin by market cap, with the market cap approaching half almost of Bitcoin's $255 billion market cap. That's amazing. Ethereum is a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, but they differ in purpose. Bitcoin's a peer-to-peer electronic payment system, but Ethereum is really more designed for smart contracts. These are contracts that automatically execute when specific conditions are met. Ethereum's rapid ascent has eclipsed Ripple now, which dropped about 25% at one point to third place today. What happened? It's not quite clear here, but Ripple has said that its price fluctuation is due to CoinMarketCap. This is a site that lists cryptocurrency values that is now, they say, excluding Korean exchanges from the pricing averages, not just for Ripple, but also for other cryptocurrencies as well. This is important because South Korea routinely accounts for 10% or more of Bitcoin trading and more sometimes of other currencies like Ripple. So South Korean officials have been cracking down recently. We've been talking about this. Recently, financial authorities on Monday there said they were inspecting 6 local banks that offer virtual currency accounts to institutions. Up and down every day with this. Melissa, back to you.
Yep. All right, Bob, thanks for keeping an eye on it for us. Bob Pisani at the NYSE. So what is the future for Ethereum? Let's ask the co-creator, Stephen Nerayoff, who joins us now on the phone. Stephen, welcome to Fast Money. A pleasure to have you with us.
Hi, Amanda. Great to be here. Thank you.
We've certainly seen a huge rise in the price of Ethereum, the cryptocurrency. So what's your forecast for where it could go?
I think what you're seeing with Ethereum is exponential increase in the number of projects that are being built on there. And I could see there's billions of dollars being poured into the ecosystem right now, maybe 10 times more projects this year than there were next year, which I think could lead easily to probably tripling of the price from here before the end of the year.
And a tripling would essentially mean that Ethereum would surpass Bitcoin in terms of total market cap, correct?
That's very likely. There could be what they call in the industry a flippening, so they could potentially flip. On the other hand, the entire space is also increasing. There's a huge interest by the public. There's more areas and ways in which the public can invest, even in Bitcoin. So you could potentially just see an expansion of the entire space. While Ethereum could go exponentially higher, so could Bitcoin.
Stephen, you mentioned something very important, which I think a lot of viewers may or may not get, and that is the number of projects being built on Ethereum. And you make a very good parallel to this being sort of the Windows software of the crypto world in the way it's being used and the projects being built on top of the Ethereum protocol. Where are you seeing the biggest leg of growth from in terms of these new projects that you were talking about? Which industry?
You're seeing a tremendous amount of growth from it's across a wide variety. Fintech obviously is a natural area for growth in there. But now you're starting to see it becoming increasingly more creative. And so you're finding projects in the oil and gas industry. You're finding governments using it in their applications. You're seeing it in gaming and resorts and all kinds of different industries. So really it's exploded across industry where it started off much more now or a couple of years ago.
Hey, Stephen, do you think that as more speculators come into the crypto market, the fact that Ethereum is considered to be far cheaper and faster for transactions to be confirmed on the Ethereum network, do you think that has something to do with the outperformance over the last few weeks?
Yes, Ethereum has shown us to be a lot more stable recently. And so, in addition to it being more useful currently than Bitcoin, people are actually using it as a currency as well. So in transactional costs being lower is increasing usage of the entire network, and that's increasing the network effects of it. So more users, more projects being built on there, and more programmers, and tens of thousands of them are currently trained in it. So it's just getting, it's going on an exponential cycle at this point.
So, Stephen, as I get dovetailed to that, so you talked about maybe some of the specs related to Ethereum that allow this to be the platform. The other side of this is, as it becomes bigger and bigger, do developers decide, so I have to bet on one platform, and therefore is it a self-fulfilling dynamic here? And are we getting to a place here where the big are only getting bigger? We saw this with Facebook in obviously a different realm, but at this point, you can't fight Facebook.
I think that there's some of that, but there's also competition. So there are some other platforms and other protocols that are out there. And plus, Bitcoin itself is having another platform that will be coming on it, which is called Rootstock. And that could offer some competition to it. So I would think it's kind of similar to the days where Apple, in the 70s had, the gargantuan market share, and then, IBM came in and started competition. So we haven't hit that moment yet. But there is some competition coming.
Stephen, this may be sort of an existential kind of question, but in terms of taking a look at the value of cryptocurrencies across the board, I mean, you mentioned Ethereum and its use cases, and there are many, many use cases to it, and what part of that is the speed of Ethereum. Can a cryptocurrency exist if its sole existence is based on being a store of value as opposed to being an actual currency? And I guess I'm asking this in the context of Bitcoin.
I think a lot of people call Bitcoin a store of value. I mean, in my opinion, I would say right now it's more of a payment mechanism and a speculative vehicle, because a store of value you would think would maintain itself over time, but it's, the price increasing on it, people are using it more as a speculative vehicle. So I think that will change over time. But that's not really been the main use case of it so far. Not in the way that you would look at for something, but people call Bitcoin, for example, sometimes digital gold. I think at this point in time, it's probably misplaced to be a real store of value.
Okay. Stephen, thanks a lot for your time. Stephen Nerayoff, co-creator of Ethereum. Fascinating discussion here. Thoughts, Guy?
Well, I mean, for me to talk about any of the cryptocurrencies is probably, I'm the wrong person. But I will say there are stocks that work. Steve Grasso's been on Overstock. Look what that's done over, forget about the last 6 months. Look what it's done over the last 2 weeks. Stock's been on fire. I still think the Chicago Mercantile Exchange in terms of stocks is the way to play it, because it gives you everything that CME does, plus the cherry on top is cryptocurrency.
Tim, you're on a roll. You had another smart comment there on that one. I mean, what you're really talking about is like the network effects and the projects that are on these sorts of things. And that's the thing, if you're like a stock investor, you're kind of looking at these platforms and you're looking at, network effects. And that's how I think you have to look at some of these. And your question, Mel, about Bitcoin versus Ethereum makes a lot of sense, too. Listen, we're all trying to figure this out. We're all like you, Guy, like in the Stone Ages of most things in your life here, as we think about it.
Various spectrums of Don.
Yeah, but it's hard. I mean, you really are going to have to dig in. If you're going to go and speculate, and that's what you're doing, you're speculating on these things, you really got to figure out what they're doing, why they exist.
Right. And is Ethereum's price going to be driven up by the fact that there are all these projects versus Bitcoin, which is
I mean, again, if he sees an
currency,
ICO craze that is looking to build upon this platform, I think that's self-fulfilling. And he doesn't need to say that. I'm not saying that that's the law, but that's what we're seeing play out.
Cheaper, faster. The other interesting name out there today, how about Seagate? The idea that Seagate's got this portion of, that could build into them as well. I think you stick with what you really want to invest in when you pick these names, though. It's the Ethereums of the world or the Bitcoins. You pick your lane. You don't pick stocks that I think are in that area.
Still ahead, more crypto. Our very own Tim Seymour bought Ethereum for the very first time the last month. It's up 50% since that call. So is he still in it? Did he take profits? We will find out. Plus, the so-called Olympics of Healthcare kicking off today in San Francisco, where some